Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode. So, this is a bit of a different one and a bit of a quick one. So, I'm going to talk about old artworks and artworks I'm particularly proud of, also that were a bit more of a stepping stone into what I have learned over the years. I'm not going to go back too far, however, I'm going back far enough to see a noticeable difference in my artwork and how I've progressed over the years and what I've learned. So let's get down to it. And we're starting off in April 2014. And this is not long after I think I graduated from uni in 2013. I think. I've got my Oh, yeah, I graduated in June 2013. So I got a job, and not long after, I started producing my own little projects and things to do. So, after uni, I still wanted to do artwork, of course, and get into the professional business and broaden my portfolio. Anyway, so this is. Hang on, I'll get my Deviant page up so I can see what I'm referring to here. And down right at the bottom here, 2014. Here we go. So yeah, Valdorian Pikeman, and that's a completely made up name. And all I wanted to do is create a project which allowed me to create armies within particular uniforms from particular periods. This was kind of a 17th century, mid 17th century kind of period. So it's based on that. Now let's get my red pen out, and I'll kind of demonstrate to you what I liked about this painting in particular. So I liked my reference, and I used I went to the Royal Armouries in Leeds, and these pikemen here, the armour that they're wearing is from the Royal Leeds Armouries, and I like the fact that I used proper reference. And let's change that circle thing because I prefer it square. So I used proper reference, and I also went and rendered the entire painting completely without using any. Oh, it's pixelating now. Without using any photography, which I was quite proud of. During uni, I'd used a lot of photography as part of texturing and things like that. So yeah, this is a completely rendered out piece, and I like the fact that I have got the time of day accurate. It's quite hard also to get that midday kind of look, and previous to that I had done a lot of 5 o'clock golden hour with sunsets and all that kind of stuff, which is more or less quite easy to do. Midday stuff is quite hard, so I'm glad I took that challenge. And I also got the proportions right for the armor. You can tell that he would actually be able to bend over properly with this size cuirass. Nice and small, how they should be. And then you've got these giant tassets that were from the 17th century. Mainly pikemen wore them. The English were famous for having these giant tassets. So yes. I would say that he is unarmored here, yet he's wearing greaves. So I wasn't thinking too much on the practicality of the armor when you've got legs that could be quite. Maybe this is thick leather. I don't know, but to me that's kind of a woolen cloth garment, and that's unarmored there. But however, he's a bit unpractical having greaves unarmored and then an armored torso. But no worries. Yeah, I did like this piece very much, and I thought it was a great stepping stone into more of a professional career as an artist. So yes, let's go on to the next one. Aha, Emma Watson. So this is a study of Emma Watson. This is September now, so this is later on in the year, and I'd been working for a full year as a professional artist, and I thought that it'd be a good idea to study especially females, because I suck at drawing women. and I think this is down to the fact that I draw a lot of men fighting battles and stuff like that quite a lot. So drawing women is more of a, I'm not very good at that. So I thought I'd go ahead and start studying human form and things like that. And no better, the best person to do for me is Emma Watson. So I got a photo from the internet and I did a really in-depth study. You know, all the imperfections in the skin, you know, try and get down the expression right and all the skin tones, because it is so hard to get skin tones right sometimes, especially when you've got reflecting light here. Get my pen out. Here they are. Okay, so yeah, things like the reflection of the skin right there, and how the cheeks are saturated and different tonal values. See, under here is slightly blue, and then here is slightly more orange / red, and getting that kind of skin tone right. You can see areas here where it's a little more orange, and here little things like that. And I wanted to get that down and try and get it as photographic, realistic as possible. So yes, that was a big stepping stone for me in terms of understanding skin tones, understanding form of the body, and things like that. I did a few different studies in this kind of time period. Right, the next one. This is quite this is one of the most favorited videos images I have on DeviantArt. Now this is a relatively quick piece to make. What I did is use bike parts and rendered them into certain kind of mechanical forms. So it's like an exoskeleton that he's got here. I basically took a photo of myself in my airsoft gear. I have a German helmet, I put that on, and I think I had an airsoft mask, and used that as a basis for the whole set. And I'm using particular camo which is called ATAX. You won't be able to see it underneath this, and I thought I'd do a quick piece with kind of photo bashing and try and do it in the method that a lot of concept artists do it. So yes, and I thought that this was a stepping stone because I'm using kind of mechanical forms, which was a big challenge for me. I do a lot of kind of organic stuff. Also, I do a lot of uniforms that are historic. This is futuristic. I don't do a lot of futuristic stuff, so this is a big challenge regarding that. So yes, I should probably need to do a few more pieces that are more futuristic. I think I did a video saying that I wanted to do some more futuristic styled pieces in the future. So yeah, this is a little reminder for me to do that. So yeah, I did like this piece very much. I like the way that the different panels represent certain muscle groups here. So you got bicep there, these are triceps, and you got your deltoids, and then I don't know the forearm muscles, but I tried to kind of replicate muscle form in the exoskeleton. Yes, next piece. So I went into my into my parents' garden because I was living with my parents at the time, and I got into my armored kit, went outside, took photos, and thought I'd come up with a piece, but I didn't intend on what kind of time of day it would be and all that kind of stuff, the scene and the story behind the whole thing. A little bit of a background. This musket here, pistol, that's my granddad's, which is a little thing there. But yeah, I do like this piece very much. I like the mood of it. I don't like the armor. The costume design is very bad, and after this is where I started to learn how armor should be tailored towards the body, and the anatomy of the human form. And so yeah, this is I would say a mixture of photo bashing and a mixture of actual painting. So it's a mixture of the two. What I liked about this is I demonstrated how I could create mood and several different ways of creating an atmosphere in a painting. So yeah, I did learn a few little things historically, such as half swording. You know, this guy here, he's gripped his blade here, and he's going to use it to take out someone with either his quillons or pommel, the end of his sword. And yeah, I do like the designs of the helmets actually. You know, especially this one here, he looks really mean. And yeah, so it's slightly historical. What's not historical about this mainly is the cuirasses. Now, it should be cut in like this, bulging out and then coming out. This gorget or plate that's underneath that should be that pauldron here should be over the top of that. It's a little bit messed up, I reckon, and maybe I should have had the cuirass come down like that and then have a look at some reference of 17th century pieces, because the cuirass I had used for reference is a really bad cuirass. So yeah, maybe that's that. After that, that was something that I learned. I watched a lot of Ian Laspina's videos, and he was a great help in understanding how armor works. So yeah, let's move on. And I think I did this, yeah, December 18th. So I actually did this the night of my work party, and this was a big piece in terms of it. I used my own reference in terms of photography. I'd been doing that in the past, however I hadn't used myself. I used a plastic figure I bought from the internet of a stormtrooper, put him behind a piece of green card to make a green screen out of it, take photos of different kind of positions, and then I used reference from the internet and from the movies Force Awakens and create a piece, again using the mood, and again I these flary pieces to indicate that there's a fire nearby, these burning embers. I'd done that before, but it's the method I've gone around doing it. So I didn't use myself, I used something else as reference. And also, you know, little things such as learning how reflective light works, creating a piece with a bit of nitty gritness to it. You know, if you look at the movies in Force Awakens, a lot of these stormtroopers are quite clean and quite white, whereas in this case you can tell that he's been going through the battles. I'm not really sure the how armor works in the Star Wars universe, but you can tell he's got scratches and a bit of, he's been through a bit of action, and it's a nice close up of that piece. So yeah, moving on to the next piece. So we're a bit closer. This is 2016 now, and this piece here was when I started creating a lot of historical settings. Only a few of them got finished completely though, but I started really researching my history. So this is Carolingian period. So these guys here are Franks, and the Carolingian dynasty in the 9th century, I think. And these guys here in the foreground are Saxons. Now, they're not Saxons from England. They are Saxons that stayed and did not migrate in the 5th century. So yeah, they're Germanic people. So big stepping stone in the regard of researching and getting good amounts of understanding of how things were historically in my pieces, understanding what it was like and things like that. And also, this is a blend of photography and painting. This is me in my male kit, standing in the garden. And if I go back, yeah, this is me with a broomstick handle and with a bamboo thing and pretending that I've got a bow and arrow, but you know, bring it into Photoshop, edit the whole thing completely, and make it come to life. And this is the first piece that I've done in the woods, and try and create a nice atmosphere of the setting. You know, this is within a wooded area. You know, there's some guys in the background here coming through the trees, and these Carolingian troops were probably marching and ended up getting ambushed. So yeah, moving on to the next piece. So I joined up with the Rise of Mordor guys, and they were happy to take me on and do some stuff for them. Unfortunately, I haven't got around to getting back to designing stuff for them. I haven't been in contact with them for a while, but yeah, I'd love to get back to it. It's just a matter of getting time. However, I did manage to get a few pieces done for these guys, and this is a big stepping stone regarding using reference, but kind of puzzling it all together. Originally, I'd take a photo like with the stormtrooper; it would be one photo. This guy here is, Theoden is an amalgamation of probably about 50 different photos and pieced together and rendered to a relatively good quality. And I tried to get it as accurate as possible to the movie version. And it did take a long time to actually do this. You know, I did end up rendering over all the photographs. Everything was completely done by hand in the end, and all the photos were edited to form one person and then rendered over the top. And I tried my hardest to actually get a solid piece out that can be rendered into 3D, and that was quite a big piece for me because I have never really done that before. And creating a concept piece, well, it's not a concept, it's an actual design that can be put into a 3D form. So yeah, right, it's my last piece. Now, this was done this year in February. Big stepping stone in regarding the use of reference in first-hand reference, as well as second and third. So first-hand reference, going to a museum, seeing what armor it looks like up front, the original stuff, and using that as reference. And then second-hand stuff is effigies. What did stone carved masons do to create such realistic effigies? Effigies are like stone carvings of human forms, and in this case, in the 15th century, this is probably late 14th century, because of the Besagues. No, actually, they started appearing again, these Besague pieces, for the armpit in the early 15th century, and then they were kind of a miss in the late 14th century. Not sure why. Ian Lespina kind of let me know on that. Anyway, so this is apart from the Besagues, I would say early 15th century, very early, late 14th century. And I used reference. I went in the back garden, I got into my armoured kit, and I tried to create a piece that would suit this. And then I brought it in, painted over the top, used the first-hand reference, went to the Wallace collection, had a look at the bassinet that they have and several other different pieces, look at effigies online and see what they look like, and using that as a basis. And as a result, I've got a very accurate piece, you know, historically, and it kind of shows, you know, especially when it comes to the, you know, the greaves here. They are fit to the form of the calf muscle and to the form of the leg. Getting these sabatons right, getting the overlap in the English style, and obviously I have now finally got my cuirasses right. So after that other piece that I did with the fire in the background, the cuirasses were very out of form and out of shape. So yeah, I'm very proud of this piece. This is a really good piece that I like. It's also demonstrating that the polearm is the, you know, the weapon that the knights had. It was not the sword. That was a backup weapon. Your primary weapon would have been a pole axe, a spear, one of those things, and then a backup of the sword. And then if you are grappling with other knights, you'd go to your rondel dagger, which I've kind of demonstrated the guy here. So yeah, use of reference, but really researching my pieces to make sure I get it, you know, to the T, accurate as possible. So yeah, so that's it. I just wanted to do a video and kind of explain that you need to be proud of your artwork that you've done in the past. Look back at your art stuff and see how you've improved, what you've learned and stuff like that. I always see professional artists and go, oh my god, their stuff's really good. How the hell am I going to get that good? But if you look back at your own artwork and have a nice positive outlook on what you've done, then, you know, you might have a bit more motivation to create more pieces in the future. But yeah, I'm going to finish there and have a good day. Bye bye.